Welcome to the Urban Music Enthusiast podcast, the space where urban culture, music, film, and storytelling collide. I'm your host, B. Sims, and every episode I shine a spotlight on the voices shaping our communities. Artists, actors, writers, and influencers who are making a real impact both locally and nationwide. If you love urban music, film, and TV as much as I do, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join the ongoing conversation about the culture. Let's get into it. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
Me too.
So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, let's do a temperature check. Okay. How are you feeling in this season of your life as a woman and as an artist?
If I'm speaking honestly, overwhelmed. There's so much going on.
Really?
Yeah, I think with life, with the world, like it's just so much at all times. You wake up to news every day.
The world is a lot.
So if I'm being just candid, a lot. I think I'm in a very transitional period of my life. I'm about to move to LA.
Oh, you're moving?
Yeah, I am.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, in a month, I'm out of here.
It sounds like a good career move, though.
Thank you.
Are you doing it for work?
Exactly, for work. And that has been everyone's reaction. So it's been really funny because I feel like I've held off for so long thinking everybody's going to be like, no, like, why would you go?
Would you leave home?
Why would you leave? Everybody's like, good.
But I think eventually it gets to a point where, and it doesn't mean you're going to be there forever.
Exactly.
You might end up coming back.
Oh, yeah, I don't plan to be there forever. I love the DMV.
I was going to say, you seem like you love home.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You've been here your whole life, right?
Well, I'm originally from Nigeria, but outside of the time, like, I've been in, since I've been in the United States. You've
been in PG County.
Yeah.
I like it. You moved here when you were like 2 or something?
Yeah.
I had to do my dive. But before we get into where you are now, let's take it back to your origins. Okay. Who was O Slice before music became your main thing?
Before music became my main thing, I was a super shy kid to the point of being like a mute. Did not speak in public spaces. Was just very much to myself.
Wow.
Extreme social anxiety, and I use music to find my voice essentially. So
that is surprising to hear. I've seen your performance videos. It does not give shy.
I know.
But you came into yourself at some point.
Very much so. Yeah.
At what point did you decide you didn't want music to be a hobby, but you felt like you needed to do it, like you purpose to be in that space and make it your main thing?
To be honest, as soon as I started. Yeah, as soon as I started. So I started like writing music at the age of 9, and
that's very early.
Oh yeah, because I don't know, maybe because of like my belief in the American dream when I first got here, I realized that I looked at people like Oprah, people like Jay-Z, and I realized that the rags to riches story really inspired me. So I realized like if you put your mind to it, you can actually do anything.
And you can blow up.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, what can't I do? And I was like, okay, I can't be president because I wasn't born in this country.
You just went way to the top.
No, literally, I was like, I can't be president.
Way to the top.
All right, so president is off the list, and then I realized I couldn't be the first woman to play in the NBA. And once I took those 2 off the list, I was like, oh, anything else is on the table. So then when I started music, I was like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to be like a world famous artist.
That is very interesting that that's where your mom went, and I did not expect you went from the top.
Yeah. I was like, what can't I do? Like, because I didn't want to tell myself I couldn't do anything. So like, what actually can I not do? And once I got those out the way, I was like, okay, anything.
You were very ambitious. I like that. How did you come up with the name O Slice?
When you write that young, you just say random stuff and you don't expect it to stick and have to justify it 30 years
but
later.
It's fire.
Yeah. Well,
it's fire.
If I could find a better one, I would switch.
You would completely change the whole.
I would switch. I think that we're in the era where like you need a name. It's not like a persona name, but like a name.
Like a name.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could see yourself maybe changing at some point.
Yeah, if I could think of something better.
Would you ever use the name on your birth certificate?
No, it feels too personal. Like
it's very personal.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out ways around it. Maybe like make something cool with it. But it's like that's how I got O Slice. So it's like I'm still trying to figure it out. I also have 7 names because I'm Yoruba, so we have like a bunch of. So I'm constantly like looking at like different combinations. But yeah, I would for sure change it. I know that a lot of people like O Slice, but I would be so down to change it.
Were your parents very supportive when they found out about your music? Because I know that can be different with African parents. Yeah,
I think that they were supportive in their own way initially. So like the reason that I actually started writing and performing is because during family gatherings, like they would have the cousins go downstairs and like make up like a routine and like so we'd actually just make up songs to perform it at like Thanksgiving and birthdays and holidays. So they knew that we had some type of interest in it, but it took them a while to took them a while to really understand, like, oh, I'm not gonna stop doing this. You're gonna keep going. Yeah. So, because like they saw me do it my whole life, and I think when I started getting booked for shows, they started like raising their eyebrows. Where it's like, oh, this is a real thing? Yeah, this is a real thing. And I think that they're still they still wrap their head around it, but they come to my shows, like the big ones. I invite them now.
So they are supportive.
Yeah, I didn't used to invite them, but now they come.
I like that. Yeah. Even after the whole going to college, Maryland, studying something completely different, they were still on board.
I was running that campus as a rapper, like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like they also
outside of the classroom.
Yeah, like I actually didn't really have a full desire to go to college. I went because of like my parents making the sacrifice to be first generation immigrants. I had to give them something.
You had to do something.
But I always looked at it as an avenue to get closer to my dream. So like I wanted to go to a school in New York or California. I was like, okay, if I'm going to do music,
because you want to get in those
are the areas I need to be in. I messed up one of my applications, didn't get into Cornell like I wanted, which is funny because Cornell is not even like in the city, but like, you know, teenager brain. I'm like, I just gotta get to New York. Yeah. But and Maryland ended up being a perfect place for me.
It seems like you blew up, and that was a great start. Yeah. In regards to the DMV, something I'm always really interested in, especially as a transplant, is like the concentration of art in this area, right? How do you feel like you fit within this lane of the DMV artistic landscape?
I think the landscape is constantly changing.
It is.
I think that my favorite era of it was probably like 2014 to like 2019. I think that was like a really good period of time. A rich period. Yeah, because I think that was the time that we had the most focus on like the eclectic acts, where it wasn't just like the street artists or the gangster rap. Yeah. It was just like, okay, the Gold Links, the R.A. Lennoxes, the Cordays, you know, like Alex Vaughn, Manny Wells, like that's when everybody started to get their little push. So like, so I really like that era a lot. I think that was my favorite, just because also like we were focused on being here and like pushing things forward here. I think now. I was gonna say, where do you think we're at now?
A lot of those people are still very present.
Oh yeah. Like I think that the pandemic took a lot from like this area because of like the momentum that we had. Like I think that it was our time, like to pop at the time, and I think that got taken away. But then also we lost a lot of venues. We lost a lot of like independent spaces that were really supportive of my section of the art scene. I think now. Now it's a lot tougher, if I'm being honest. I do think that art is thriving in different ways, where like more visual artists are getting love now, and more like curators are getting love now. But I think that the concentration of like everyone being in the same space and being on the same timing and kind of moving together as a unit, I don't think that that's the time for that right now. But at the same time, I do feel like people are individually excelling and pushing themselves forward, and I think that still is growth for the area.
Do you think there's something people from outside the DMV misunderstand about the DMV art scene? Like, have you noticed that when you talk to creatives outside of this space?
How early we are. Yes. But I think that not even just artistically, I just think as a people. I think that when you have this many people from so many different backgrounds, and for it to be as diverse as it is, we get to experiment, we get to fuse together, we get to like have these experiences with one another that allow us to be more open-minded to so many things.
That's very true.
And I think that outside of the area, when we're early on, they jack us so much. They jack us so hard. They steal from us so much, and they don't even realize. To this day. Yeah, because they're so, like they take our lingo and they act like they made it. They take our fashion, they act like they made it.
But they also all think that all DC has to offer artistically is go-go.
Yeah.
Which, not to take away from go-go, it is premier, but at the same time, there's such an abundance of range that I feel like sometimes it doesn't get enough attention.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Huh? Do you think that DMV artists receive, to that same point, enough support from within their hometown? Because me and my wife, the funny thing, you smile, so I already know. My wife and I go back and forth about this a lot because she's from here and I'm not. I'm a transplant. But I'm still very invested in this area at this point. But I'm always just like, what's, like, the talent is here.
Yeah.
The range is insane to me. But, like, how do we...
It's an infrastructure problem.
How so?
Okay, so I can never say that I'm, like, DMV artists don't get support, because they've been supporting me from day one.
I know that.
At every phase, people
you can go back and see that.
Yeah, oh my God, the first show I put together had 75 people at it. My very first one.
You've been supported from day one.
From day one,
but you have a presence, and that's a testament to you and your image.
Thank
and
you.
The space that you take.
Thank you. Yeah, so
very authentic.
So I have to be aware of that. Like, my situation is a little bit different, but I can't. But at the same time, I can still never say that they don't support, because when I showed up and asked for support, they gave it to me.
They gave it to you. Yeah.
But I think that the more important support is like financial support. I think, well, not more important than what people are doing for me, but in general for the art scene, I think there are some grants that are easy to get. I think that there are grants that are way too hard to get.
Okay.
I think that there are venues that are easy to get into. There are some venues that are way too hard to get into. There's venues that gave me a hard time last year when I was trying to put together my 10th annual show.
The Inner Circle?
Yeah. There was a venue that actually just like very clearly didn't want me in their space, which was crazy. Cause I'm like, I'm gonna bring a couple hundred people out. Like this is a big deal.
I've never heard that. I didn't know that.
They just didn't want to give me a fair deal. And when I like put my foot down about I'm not giving y'all that, they just stopped responding to me. So I think if they can do that to me, imagine somebody trying to put together their first show.
Because a lot of people seem like the artists I meet that they're working, I don't want to say alone, but there's not like a conglomerate. Like with you, it's like so many people support you, and it's not really just DMV people. There are transplants. Like a lot of my friends, we're not from here, and it's like we're tapped in. People know what the Inner Circle is. So I mean, to me, it's like you have a lot of support, and to me, what is it called? The whole Glizzy, their whole block, they have a lot of support. Yeah. Like they support each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you don't have a lot of pockets like this where it's like no matter what, like Shy Glizzy and all the people coming up under him, they're gonna support. They're gonna pull up every concert. Yeah. But I'm also seeing that with you in a very different way. It's a different approach, right? It's not strictly like gangster rap, and it's not it's block and stuff like that, which I appreciate them for what they're doing. But it's like for you to have that and it be like so much more expansive in some ways and have a lot of range and really kind of pulling the community. I'm like, that there's something there. Yeah,
I think it comes from I advocate for artists.
You do?
Yeah, I think that that's really important. I think that so many artists mess with me because I mess with them. I think that I've never been shy to be a fan of other people. So like people remember me from like 6 years ago when I hit them up. I was like, yo, this is really fire. Like I love it. Like people know what my favorite song of them is,
And that's dope.
I'm very, very, very quick to show love because I've never been threatened by anyone else's light.
Because you're confident in what you are bringing to the space.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you being amazing doesn't take from me at all.
That's very true.
So I'm very quick to be like, yo, like you're fire. And I think that was really like the premise of the first Inner Circle, where it was like, I know a lot of cool artists. We don't have that many places to show y'all how cool we are. Come to my show and I can show y'all like who I think is cool. And I think that because I did that, because that grew into actually being like a legitimate space for artists, I think that people just gravitated to that in a way where now the community can come together at my spot and see each other and it feel like a family reunion.
Of course, because that's what it looks like.
It does.
Like
it's
a family artistic reunion.
It's so fun.
So since you brought that up, I have to get into the Inner Circle. How did this come about? Like where did the original vision? Like what was your original vision?
So the original vision, it was my 22nd birthday, and I was talking to a friend, and I didn't know what to do for my birthday. And she was like, "Do something that would really make you happy." And I was like, "Oh, performing would make me happy."
Of course.
And she was like, "Okay, so put together a show." I thought that was crazy, just because it was. I think maybe it was like 2 months out when she said that. Like, I've never put together like my own show before. And
you were 22.
I was 22. And I also didn't really have that much music out. So it was kind of, in my mind, it would be difficult because I didn't have music out. So what would I really
feel like you don't have a lot to show?
Yeah. But I was like, I make music all the time. So I do have something that I could show, even if it's not like, so I was like, oh, let me just show them what I've been working on, the people I've been working on it with, and I'll make it free. But I remember the concept of like a rent party where it's like, artists coming together and pooling together money to help pay the rent of artists back during the Harlem Renaissance. And I was like, well, I don't have to make the show be like for cost, but I'll make paintings. I will sell my paintings if you guys want to buy those. If you guys want to just donate, and we raised $500, and the $500 went towards my first music video. My first real music video.
And that's dope as hell.
Thank you.
Is the goal to continue the inner circle with your independent artistry, or is it transforming? Because I can tell you're pushing your music and things now.
Yeah. So I'm taking a break from the show for the first time in 10 years, which is needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
I think that in that time I'm gonna reconceptualize it and see what I think it can be and what it can become. Because now I have like so many ideas that like offshoot.
Other ideas.
Yeah. So it's like, and some ideas that are still connected to the inner circle. So like in an ideal world, the inner circle looks a couple of ways. We have the summer circle, which is like the summer music festival that we had. We only did it one time, but it was so fire. But I know that like in the long run, the way I want to have it is like I want it to be the premier festival in the area.
And it can be.
But in order to do that, it needs so much infrastructure, so much funds. So that's just on the back burner while I build my like personal like brand and artistry up.
Of course.
In the inner circle, I want it to remain intimate. So I kind of use the summer circle as a way to like, as many people as want to come to that. But for the inner circle, like very, very, What
does your next chapter look like? What can fans expect from you? Because I know you released a single and it looks like the momentum is building for that. Where are we going?
I'm trying to drop a project within the next like month or so. Yeah.
So after you move from LA?
Low key, I'm trying to have it done before I go. That's one of the reasons I'm still here.
I like that.
Trying to get it done so I can have a listening party and a goodbye party at the same time. Have people listen,
And then you leave. How would you say you've evolved as a woman and an artist between your previous project, since Good Morning, Good Night, and now?
That's such a great question.
Because some artists will say, some people might say, there's no difference. Like, how do you feel like you evolved? Because I can tell you do a lot of inner work.
Thank you.
And you're very self-aware. So
thank you. I try to be. Listen, some self-awareness is realizing how aware you're not sometimes.
I mean, but you know what? That's a start. Yeah. So it's like, what's the difference between that old slice and this one?
I think that's such a great question. And I almost pushed back our interview because I wanted you to be able to hear the project before we talk, because I feel like you asked a good question.
I can still hear the project after and come to the listening party.
Nah, facts.
I live here.
You're absolutely right.
I live here.
You're absolutely right.
You have my number now, so please invite me.
I got you. I think that one of the differences, it's such a great question because in a way, and I hope this isn't, it's for sure a spoiler, but this project is connected to Good Morning, Good Night. So I feel like J. Cole actually just did something similar with his with 2 songs on his last project, 29 and 39. So if Good Morning, Good Night was like me fresh out of college and like my view of relationships and myself then, this is the like 30-year-old, 31-year-old version of me looking at relationships and trying to understand like, you know, am I the same person? And if I am, why? And if I'm not, why? So,
I like that.
Thank you.
So the single Closer seems very intimate, vulnerable. It's very much so giving more love girl energy. Yeah. How does that reflect the creative space that you're in? And are we getting more of that?
For sure getting more of that. I think it's really, really funny because I think that the people who heard me when I first like made music and when I was first rapping, they would never believe that this version of me existed. Yeah. But like she was always there.
I was gonna say it's different, but I'm like, this didn't come from nowhere.
Oh yeah. Like,
this was the seed was already there. Because you linked into it too easily. Oh yeah. I was like, okay, this is different, but it seems too natural.
Yeah, because those are the kind of songs that I made behind the scenes and never released.
And just never put it.
Yeah, because I was coming up in an era where I was the only woman in rap spaces.
That's true.
I didn't have time to be soft. I didn't have time to show that side. So it's like, no, like I'm standing here with y'all. Like I can really rap with y'all. Like we can talk about world issues. We can talk about ourselves. We can talk, you know,
super advocacy work. I love that.
Yeah, and it's like, no, I'm a lyricist. I'm an MC. I'm all of that. All that love stuff. But then when I kind of came into myself as an artist, it's like, no, like I can be all of these things at the same time.
But I think people also don't realize, specifically as women, like we have to feel safe and we have to feel sure to lean into that.
For sure.
Because otherwise it feels like a liability.
Yeah.
People don't understand that about women. So when I heard it, I'm like, okay, she's a little more mature now. She's evolved. She feels comfortable stepping into this space. So I definitely see that. I want to hear more of that too. I'm sure that's reflective of something that's going on in this season of your life. Are there any collaborations or things that you're manifesting in this next chapter with this new music? Because you sent a month out, so this is pretty around the corner.
I'm manifesting I think I want to get back into doing video work how I did earlier in my career. I think that was a big part of my artistry when I was coming up, and an important part of like what art looks and feels like to me. And I think that because of external reasons, I had to like, take a step back from doing that and focus on either the show or focus on music. But I'm hoping that in this new era, video re-enters my artistry. Yeah.
Okay. How important is it for your music to land with listeners in the same way that you intended it when you created it? Like, I know some artists are like, it's irrelevant, but I know that you're very intentional and self-aware.
It's not fully irrelevant.
I
will say that I do fight for myself as an artist and consumer a lot, because even a song like Closer, where Closer had no reason to be 5 minutes other than the fact that I wanted it to be.
I love it.
And I didn't want, I was like, I don't want a short song.
Let's keep it going.
And I know everybody's doing short songs, but
they're getting shorter and shorter.
Shorter and shorter every day. And guess what? One day they're going to be longer again.
I pray that.
And
I pray that.
But if I'm chasing it trying to be short, like who's going to determine that they become long again? So I think that, and to be honest, it probably is too long, because now when I perform it, it's like, I would take out this section. I was, there were some creative choices I could have taken to like make it, like maybe do a middle ground. But I intentionally was like stubborn with that. Cause I was like, nah, like, and I'm going to add,
we want to feel that.
And I want a 1 minute guitar solo because I can, So I do think I fight for myself and advocate for myself and my desires as an artist. But it is important that it lands with the audience the right way.
Okay.
Because why is it important? I think some of art is not only creating for yourself, but like creating something that lives and manifests and is important to other people as well. Not at the expense of yourself, but they are included in the process. Maybe not the first thought, but I do try to think about the audience because I like to perform as well. Exactly. So I also think about how would this translate? How would this feel on stage?
How important is impact for you? It sounds like it is very important.
Very important.
Yeah, that's something you keep in mind.
Yeah.
Is there something you're trying to, what is something you kind of want to leave on listeners, especially younger artists, with the music you release? Like, even though there's people watching you from your high school, from Flowers, or wherever, just people, little girls in PG, like, what kind of message and imprint are you trying to leave on them?
I think that it has changed greatly. Well, not changed. I think it just evolves. I think that initially, I was definitely trying to feel like that role model role of just like, you can be positive. You don't have to compromise yourself or your morals, and you can still be cool and be yourself. Like, there's just, all of those things. I think that those are still important. Yeah. But I think that as I mature as an artist, I think I just genuinely want to be understood. I think that that's like the biggest thing for me now, where I feel like I can be a naturally like really closed off person, and I think that when I make art, I do think that that's one of the best versions of myself when I'm on stage and I'm talking to an audience. I think that's when I feel most human.
It appears that way.
So I think that with the music now, I just want that essence to be captured, where it's like, okay, now you know a little bit more about myself.
Let's do some rapid fire questions and wrap this up for these people. What is your favorite concert venue in the DMV? Can be to perform at, visit.
You said rapid fire, and I gotta think. I would say it used to be this one venue, but that's the venue that didn't let me in. So I'm gonna say.
So you can't even say it.
So I'm gonna say Culture. The venue I just had the Inner Circle at. Culture is a great venue.
Wait, is Culture? You talking about Culture House?
Nah, Culture in Ivy City.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've been there.
Oh, it's really nice. They have like state of the art.
I may need to check that.
Oh yeah, it's a good vibe.
Who's your favorite artist you've opened up for or performed with? Because you've had some heavy hitters. Like, you work with Big Sean.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be the combo of Big Sean and Wale, just because I was obsessed with both of them as a kid.
And I'm obsessed with both of them now.
Unashamedly, like, Wale is one of the greatest writers of our generation.
Hands down.
I can't wait to meet Big Sean. So like, I think that might be.
I think Big Sean is also incredibly underrated.
Oh yeah.
Hated for him.
Overhated.
Oh, I hate it. I get so mad every time.
They act like he not him.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. Studio or stage?
Stage.
I can tell.
Not even close.
You have a performance spirit, though.
Thank you.
Like, some people perform and it's like, I know this is your job. I watched the old videos. I went all the way back. I'm just like 2018, 2019. I'm like, oh my gosh. You really command the space of the stage.
Oh,
like it feels like you were meant to be on stage and expressing yourself.
I
in
feel
that way.
like that.
It
and
looks
I've
like
always
that.
felt like that.
It looks like that.
Imagine me doing that when I was like super shy too.
Uh-huh.
So like I'd be in the room quiet and then I'd get on stage and do that. I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to. That's what I'm supposed to.
I can't wait to
there.
see it this generation. Let's evolve to see that. Well, might have to come to LA, but yeah. One word to describe your current era.
Change.
Yeah. I figured that based on how you said this season was.
Yeah.
Change is good though.
I'm hoping so.
Mm-hmm. One thing people underestimate about you. If you're underestimated at all, you might not be underestimated.
I still think I am in certain ways. One thing people underestimate about me. I can't think of one. I was.
See, this is how I'm like, you might not be underestimated.
I still think
I read the
still
comments.
like
I speak to people. No one has anything negative to say about you.
Man, we thank God. I don't feel like that sometimes, but we thank God. We thank God.
A message you would have to younger artists right now that are struggling to stay consistent, stay creative, stay in that state of flow.
Hold on close to your why, and persevere through all of it, no matter what it looks like outside. The real will win eventually.
I agree with that, even if it takes longer.
Yeah, it always does. Okay. Actually,
what's your why?
God has given me the talent and the skill set and the mind frame to change my life and the lives of others. So I have to do it.
I love that. I hate we had to rush this. I hope this means there's going to be a part 2.
Oh, for sure.
I have a lot more to ask.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I was talking to Ray and he was saying just book another interview. Yeah, he was supposed to pull up with me today. He had to go last night.
I love Ray. Before you leave, we have to do this again. If you do have a listening party, I would like to go.
I got you.
I really enjoyed this interview, even if it was short.
Yeah.
You are definitely exactly who people say you are.
Thank you.
Like, you just feel like just the energy. You have a very warm energy. You have a very warm presence.
I try.
And you're sure of yourself in a way that's not unobtrusive and intimidating. I don't mean that in a bad way.
But it's funny. A lot of people found it intimidating initially. So this is a reworked version.
I think that I'm not going to speak to those people, but to people who are self-aware and confident, I'm like, there's no way it can be intimidating. If anything, just be inspired to just push yourself into a more creative state of flow.
Thank you.
I love that. This will not be our last time.
Oh, not at all.
I really appreciate it.
This is one of my favorite interviews. I feel like I don't do enough.
Well, it should be longer. Yeah. I could have been talking to you for 45 minutes. So we definitely gonna have to do this again. Thank you for tuning in to the Urban Music Enthusiast podcast. Every interview you hear also drops on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, share, and keep the conversation alive. This platform is about more than entertainment. It's about celebrating creativity, impact, and the culture that connects us all. Until next time, I'm B. Sims, and this has been another episode of the Urban Music Enthusiast podcast, where urban stories find their voice, and we celebrate music, film, and the artists driving the culture. Make sure to stay tapped in.